Hello guys, today we're going to be going through my pull day and squat session. Didn't record the rest of my leg day because it was quite a busy gym and it's not as interesting as squatting. So here we're doing lat pull down to begin with. It was quite busy. I usually start with pull-ups but I actually forgot. So really trying to squeeze the back, little arch, making sure I'm pulling my elbows like down and not out. Really try to squeeze the lats at the bottom of the rep. Moving on to a mid-row exercise, bent over dumbbell rows. I'm not gonna lie, it was just horrendously busy, especially for the pull exercise. As you can see, the guy behind me is in the chest supported row. So I don't usually do this exercise, but beggars can't be choosers, so make sure to pull a bit back towards my hips with the angled chest, of course, and then obviously both sides. Don't want to be all lopsided now, do we? I find my left side a lot harder on exercises like this, which is, you know, just imbalance through my training, but that's why it's ever more important to do like side isolating exercises, you know what I mean? So now moving on to easy bar curl, which is complete opposite of a side isolation exercise. So here I am, you know, you can see my body's swinging a bit, which is, you know, I got no excuses really. This weight was probably just a little bit too heavy for me, but nevertheless I did it. So here, trying to keep your elbows tucked and shoulders stationary and not swinging your chest like I'm doing here, but honestly, when people talk about form, they act like every time you need to be doing it perfectly. It's obviously something you should aim for, but a little bit of, I suppose it's cheating. As long as it's not dangerous, there isn't really anything wrong with it. You are just potentially leaving gains on the table. So here doing some close grip, reverse grip pull-ups, making sure to keep my chest up, squeeze my back. Like I said at the beginning, I usually do these first, but that's why I'm doing close grip, because they are easier, more bicep activation. Really trying to maximize reps here. Pull-ups are a really strange exercise where once you've done a set to near your limit, there's a lot of resting that needs to be done before you can do another set of a similar volume. So that's one downside to pull-ups, but generally they're a brilliant exercise, and honestly, for people who are getting into the gym, I would recommend doing things like pull-ups or dips on days even not pull day or push day for dips, because they're just such a fundamental and useful exercise, especially if you just want to get better pull-ups or maybe do some calisthenics. They're just very useful. Moving on to hammer curls now, trying to keep, you know, elbows still, shoulders still, of course, trying to tense the tricep at the bottom here, if you can see, just to make sure there's full extension there of the bicep. You might not be able to tell, but my elbow started to hurt, my far side elbow, my left elbow, during the set, but powered through it. It did actually mean I couldn't do many more sets of this though, but you can see my form slightly declining towards the end, but like I said about form before, small, mostly safe variations from perfect form are acceptable. Now I'm just doing a bit of posing in the locker room before I leave. Something I've noticed with my posing is I generally struggle to hold a pose perfectly still. I'm generally like bouncing in and out of it, which isn't something I noticed until recently. Just like that, I never like got to it and held the position, but it's not like I'm a bodybuilder anyway. This is just feeding my ego essentially, but it's fun anyway. Now we are moving on to legs. So here, I'm only showing squats in this video, but here I'm just doing some little leg swings. It looks a bit funny in the sped up, but got to make sure to loosen your hips, dynamic stretches, and then maybe some static. But I find that doing mostly dynamic stretches for like high intensity strength exercises like squats is more beneficial than static stretches, because I feel it just takes a bit of oomph out of it. And I thought I read somewhere that it's not good for strength exercises to do a lot of static stretching, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. It's just my methods. So here, starting with 60 kilos on the bar, just simple up and down, making sure to keep my everything in line, not going too far over my toes or heels, but also it just helps loosen up my hips a bit more. Obviously I'm doing dead hang here, but because I do low bar squat, I find it necessary to do a bit more shoulder work. Here on 80 kilos, nothing crazy, just pyramiding's not the word, but just working up to my top set, which today is going to be 170 kilograms. At the time of editing this video, actually, I did do 180 kilograms for the same volume, so that video will be out at some point, but for now here is 170. I don't know why, but for this set my just like form just felt a bit weird. Obviously my depth wasn't quite there. Not bad. Now on to a slightly more challenging weight, so here I'm using my belt, which I wasn't previously using. 140 kilos is usually where I start with the belt, and then past 160 I put on my hand reps. Just one rep just to test how it feels. Here we are now up to 170. The strange stacking of the plates is because I'm training with Chris, and it makes it a little easier when taking the weights off to have them stacked like this. Something I've noticed recently is that my breathing isn't very good during my squats, so you can't see from this angle, but my face goes very red, which is obviously because up until I complete a whole rep I'm not really breathing, or at least not properly, which leads to me getting quite lightheaded after my sets and dizzy, but yeah, a bit of a misgroove there. Trying to work on my breathing and technique, but at the minute, especially on heavy weights, I'm finding I kind of instinctively do it just to maintain a stable core, because it's just so easy to pop out of alignment and misgroove on this kind of weight because it's quite heavy for me. Also there you'll just see that I pinch my arms, I also pinch my legs as well, so just to get a bit of adrenaline to make it a little bit easier to do the set. I really immerse myself like emotionally in my sets, like I get really like hyped up, I guess you could say, and pinching myself gives me that little bit of adrenaline that lets me, because I'm really exerting myself here, so I need quite a lot of build up, otherwise I don't know, I feel like I can't fully apply myself. That's also probably why I feel so dizzy, not delirious, but definitely my nervous system is a bit strained after each set. So that's it for the video today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.